Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us to another episode of our Construction Quality Week Quality Talk with Quality Professionals. I'm Hani Imari, your host. Today, we have a very interesting guest for you, Ms. Rita Brown from BCC Plus. She is going to talk about her company and her activities in the construction industry. And without further ado, here is Rita Brown. Hi, Rita. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself to our guests?
I have been in the industry longer than I care to admit. Um, Wholly working in the structural and miscellaneous steel field, and I've added a few other verticals into the company of late. But it's been pretty much steel my entire life.
I see that you have a lot of stuff mentioned about CAD and design and BIM. I see that you're part of AGC of Michigan. How are those things related? Are you?
Right. We do 3D modeling. That's pretty much the bread and butter of our company. And we'll pull out drawings in AutoCAD. So we usually use XSteel or Tekla. Sometimes we'll do another program to run the 3D models.
So that's actually one of the topics that we had in one of our discussion panels about use of BIM for quality management and in construction. And you were kind enough to introduce a few guests for us from NAWIC, the National Association of Women in Construction. Can you tell us more about your involvement with NAWIC?
Sure. I mean, the National Association of Women in Construction is an umbrella association for all women who are involved in the business and in the actual work of construction. So that includes everything from your front office to your boots on the ground, from your entry level to CEO. So it's a wide swath of women that are housed within that umbrella. My participation is I'm just coming off of being regional director over the North Central region, which is 6 states at this point, and I'm moving on with a bid for another national position.
A lot of people, when they think about quality management in construction, they just look at the technical aspect, maybe of civil engineering and the nitty-gritty specification checking and checklists and stuff like that. We in PMI, GLC, and the CQM community think of it as a more general business improvement and client satisfaction, and trying to get anything that is within our processes to improve in continuous fashion. And at your company, how do you guys control and do quality management in your company?
I mean, I think primary is what you're talking about is value engineering and coming up with in-place solutions when you come up with some blockages or some issues, and that's where experience comes into play, and that's where you have to marry your technical ability along with your actual experience in the field of it. Seeing the steel go up in person, how we can bring that back into applying them to the drawings, because a lot of times people are working in silos. They don't necessarily understand that you really shouldn't be hanging 300 feet up in the air, putting in a full penetration weld in the air when you could have been doing it in the shop. So that's the kind of practical experience that we try to bring to every project. That, along with the fact that it's a significant assessment of what the client actually needs to get this job done. And sometimes it's not always the information that that they want to hear.
Yeah,
Right?
great point that you make. Yeah, about how maybe prefabbing some of the work and doing it in the shop actually helps improve the quality of the final product. And a lot of construction companies are moving into the manufacturing processes actually to improve their products. So just for closing remarks and something that you want to leave our key takeaway that you'd like our guests to remember you and your legacy in construction quality management. What would you like our guests to know about your history and maybe the visions that you have for the construction industry?
Well, I think the construction industry is moving in the right direction, albeit slowly. What's really important is that we embrace the intersection of technology and with practicality and make sure that as we move forward, for me, it's an advocacy for women and people of color because we've been underrepresented um, over 100 years. That we need to understand that our next fighting force, our next people who are going to actually lift our industry are those two populations. Any industry that recognizes that opportunity in that population is going to absolutely benefit in the future because we are in shortage mode across the industry.
Agreed, totally agreed that we have to tap into that opportunity and get those nice talents that we have in our women force and in our minorities and other colored professionals that are very good at their job and they can benefit our company. And like you said, they are being maybe having some disadvantage of getting into the industry, unfortunately.
It's critical, and it's the idea of putting the oxygen mask on ourselves. So as an industry, if we do that properly, we're going to benefit. It's not even considering the populations of women and underrepresented minorities. Don't even consider them. Consider ourselves as an industry. We're doing it for ourselves. There's no benevolence there because we need that talent. We need to cultivate it. We need to make sure that we get the brightest and best choosing in construction, engineering, design, and the skilled trades.
So I was going to say this is our closing remarks, but it just brought up another question. So what do you suggest to our emerging professionals and students that are watching this little interview? What do they need to improve so they become part of this industry and become something that you would at least hire yourself, for example, let's say?
So the absolute most important thing is authenticity and experience. So the way you do that is to take on every single possible task that you can and learn it inside out, upside down, backwards and forwards, and not think that any task is below you or beneath you. If you are an office professional, get your boots dirty, get out into the field and understand how steel fits together in real life because it's very, very different than just looking at a three-dimensional, a two-dimensional drawing. So it's experience. It's being able to apply the knowledge that you've been trained at and understand that there are no absolutes. As much as we think there are absolutes, the seasoned professional knows that things have a way of changing. So you figure it out.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. Yes, experience is what most people need to improve in order to do better jobs and more better quality jobs. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Rita, for joining us. And I hope that you can join us on the November 20th event where people can talk to you live and maybe ask their questions and get involved and interact with you. So, and hopefully if you have other topics that you want to have our discussion panels discuss, like the last one that we did on BIM for CQM, our next program are going to be actually in March. We're going to have the lead for PMPs. So we're going to be talking about green buildings and that with the USGBC of Detroit. And then in June, we are going to do the IPD integrated project delivery with AIA. So those are going to be interesting discussion panels that we're going to have. But if you also have any other topics that you wish for us to have in our future program, please let us know and we'll fit those in our schedule. Thank you again
Absolutely.
for your participation and your support for the community. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.